So this is the PC that caught on fire on the last episode. Oh shit. Oh my god. So in this episode of Flip or Flop, we're gonna get to the bottom of this. I'm pretty confident the motherboard is fried. I mean, we saw literal fire coming out from the back of the EPS connectors of the motherboard. But the question is, what else did I fry inside the PC? You know, did I fry my CPU, the GPU, storage even? We're gonna find out in this episode. But first, some good news. Somebody reached out on Facebook Marketplace wanting to buy my 4070 PC at last. I feel like for every bad thing that happens to me, something good happens to offset it. So before we dive into the sadness, I say we prep this PC for the buyer. Windows 11 is a hot mess right now, with pre-installed apps, bloatware, and Microsoft shoving Copilot down our throats. Wouldn't it be great if there's a cleaner version of Windows 11 without all this nonsense? Well, of course there is, you baboon cheeks. It's called Windows 11 Enterprise LTSC, which stands for Long-Term Servicing Channel. Basically, it's a cleaner version of Windows without all the pre-installed software, no ads, and way more stability. People even compare the stability to Linux. It's that good. It's actually available for both Windows 10 and 11, and you can grab it for only $17 from VIPReceiptKey.com, but you have to use the code TS25 to unlock the cheapest price. Activating the key is the same process as before. Just go into the user center, navigate to the orders, click on the view button, and copy and paste the CD key into the activation settings of Windows, and you now have a fresh, clean version of Windows 10 or 11. So this guy reached out on Facebook Marketplace with an interesting question. He was interested in buying the system, but he also asked me if I have any extra upgrades or anything else to add. I was a little confused on what that meant, so I asked him, what would you like to upgrade? I do have more storage, so if you wanted more storage, we can easily do that. Turns out he did want more storage, but as you guys know, we're very low on storage devices. The only thing left in my inventory is this 2TB 970 EVO and the 1TB Lexar drive that we pulled from the PC that practically fried. So naturally, I offered him both the 1TB and the 2TB drive. He asked me how much the 2TB drive was going for, and I priced them at $260, which I think is still fair, especially given today's SSD prices. And he actually agreed to the upgrade. I believe I paid $125 for this drive, so we are making $135 profit just on the storage upgrade. So naturally, I told him when you want to pick it up, and he said that he wants to get it mailed. This guy doesn't even live in California. So then I asked, where do you live? He said, Tyler, Texas. And at this point, I've already shipped out multiple PCs to buyers who are willing to pay up front before I ship the PC, so I was going to offer the same service to this guy. And if he wasn't willing to pay up front, then I'm not gonna sell this PC. But luckily he did. He agreed to paying me up front. I charged him $60 for the shipping and $260 for the SSD upgrade. So the final sell price is $1,320 minus whatever I have to pay for shipping and packaging. So with that said, let's go ahead and install our SSD, pack the PC, and get ready to ship it out. Okay, there is the 2TB SSD I just added. Now we can power this off, pack it up, and get ready to ship it. Okay, I went and packed up the PC and dropped it off at my local UPS, and the shipping label actually cost me $49 and some change. So let's go and round it up to 50 and deduct that from my wallet and assess our profit for the sale. So I spent $700 flat on the PC, and I didn't do any upgrades to it other than the storage, which I paid $125 for, and then we got the $50 shipping. So in total, I've spent $875 on this system, and we sold it for $1,320, netting me a profit of $445. This one was a very, very nice flip. Speaking of making profits, unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to properly celebrate the sale of the Astral 5080 PC on the last episode, which I'm sure a lot of you guys have noticed, because my mind was just at a million different places. It was occupied with the PC that I basically fried. So I just wasn't feeling it. Even though I should, because that was like the biggest profit we've made on the entire series of Flip or Flop. I think we made over $1,200 in profit just from that one sale. On the inside, I was ecstatic and super happy, but on the outside, unfortunately, I wasn't able to reflect that appropriately. But I wanted to mention that now before we move on, obviously, and figure out what's going on with the other PC. All right, first things first, let's go ahead and pull out the motherboard so we can inspect it properly. Oh, shoot. Yep, the board actually fried. You guys can clearly see that. Whatever this is, it's close to this capacitor. Oh, you can actually see it kind of burnt. It says HDMI on it. Not exactly sure what that is, but I think this is what caught on fire. The reason as to why, I'm stumped. I honestly don't know. Some people in the comment section were saying that it got shorted. The motherboard maybe somehow touched the case. Oh, we can actually see the burn mark on the case. Wait, is that what happened? I mean, this could have just been the result of the fire happening behind the motherboard. I highly doubt the motherboard touched the case because, I mean, we had standoffs on all the right places. So I honestly don't think that was the case. I feel like this was just a bad motherboard because I got this for $50. I don't want to blame the seller, obviously, because I don't have any concrete proof, but I mean, $50 for this board was suspiciously low. So if the motherboard was the culprit, then that means our power supply should technically be okay. So I say we test the power supply before we put this build together. First things first, let's remove the CPU from here and inspect that real quickly. Okay, well, the CPU looks like it's not fried. That's always a good sign. So this is what's going to help determine if the power supply is faulty or not. Do you think it could have been the cable extensions? Let's try it without the cable extensions first. Okay, here goes nothing. Okay, I think the beeping is a good thing. No clue what I'm looking at, but the PG says 0 ms and it's blinking while making a beeping sound.
20 minutes later.
Okay, so some good news and some bad news. It looks like all the other values are within range with the exception of the PG showing 0 milliseconds and it's blinking with an audible beep noise. And I actually looked this up, and most people on the forums say that it's an incompatibility issue with the tester and the power supply unit. They're stating that as long as all the other values are within range, then you should be okay. Now, I don't know how much of that I should believe, but I mean, looking at all the other values, they are within range with the exception of, you know, the plus 5 volt and the 5 volt SB, which is slightly under, but I mean, not by much. So I think this power supply is good. But there's really only one way to find out, and I say we continue on with our build. Luckily for me, the cheap motherboard I bought from Amazon is already here, so I say we test the power supply with this board, but without any storage, memory, or CPU installed. Okay. We're good. Looks like it was the motherboard. Oh, okay. That's reassuring. Okay, let's test it with the real CPU, our memory, and our GPU. All right, here we go. I'm so freaking paranoid. We're good. Nothing has exploded in my face. Fans are spinning. Great success. Risen from the ashes of death and sadness, ladies and gentlemen, meet Phoenix, our 3070 PC reborn. Not gonna lie, guys, I thought this was gonna be a major flop, and I was convinced that I fried the entire PC, but luckily it was just the motherboard. Unfortunately, we lost the $50 that we spent on the motherboard. That's gonna eat into our profits, but I mean, it could have been far worse. But nonetheless, the PC is complete and we are now ready to list it. I have spent $605 on this PC, including the extra motherboard that I bought from Amazon, which, by the way, let's go and deduct the price of that from our wallet. I want to make at least $200 on this. Considering the amount of time I have put into this PC and the many sleepless nights I've gotten because of the traumatizing event. So that's why I think we should list this at $805. That way we can make an even $200 profit. So let's go and list it for $805 and see what happens. You can never get enough storage, ladies and gents. I found someone on Facebook Marketplace selling a 6 terabyte hard drive for $120, which in itself is a pretty decent deal. I don't know how popular hard drives are, but I feel like we can definitely make use of 6 terabytes in a future build, especially for someone who wants a ton of storage in their system. So I went and offered $60 just to kind of test the waters and see what they would say, and they actually accepted. So I am on my way to check it out. That's it right there?
Yep.
Sweet. No issues with it?
No issues.
Why are you selling it?
Oh, I just don't need it. Like, I bought the computer and Like it just came with it, so I just wanted.
Oh, it came with it. Okay. Nice. Did you format it?
Yeah, it's formatted.
Okay, cool. I don't want to make sure none of your important information is on there. $60, right?
Yep.
All right, cool.
You're from YouTube, right?
Perhaps.
I was
$60.
just watching your video.
Oh, no way.
Computer.
Oh, the one that exploded?
Yeah.
What'd you think?
It's crazy. I didn't know that was gonna happen to that.
Yeah, that makes two of us. That makes two of us. Well, appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for the deal. Take care. Okay, so this is the RTX 5070 PC I bought from the last episode for an incredibly good price. A Ryzen 7 7700 with 32 gigs of DDR5 memory and the RTX 5070 PC for $800. Wow, that is an incredible steal, but unfortunately it is not in a position to be sold. For starters, it is absolutely filthy inside and it's a little unbalanced. Like we have a dinky 120mm air cooler on our Ryzen 7 and we're using a budget case. That's not gonna resonate well with future buyers if they're looking for a 5070 PC. And well, that's where I come in. My job and all good PC flippers' job is to always bring out the full potential of every system they're flipping. So while the specs in here are great, unfortunately, it is not at its peak to be resold. You have to always look at the potential of every system. This one has a lot of potential to bring in a lot of money if we play the cards right. What I want to do is actually do a transplant, move most of the components from this case into one of the NZXT H5 flows that we got for free on the last episode. I want to replace the cooler with a 240 AIO and add some new fans. All of those changes will result to a much higher profit. So with that said, let's get started. Yep, I think the build speaks for itself. I have zero regrets swapping the case and adding a cooler. It looks like a completely different build. And these fans, god damn these fans. Honestly, they are always the MVP. I've used these in many other PC builds before, and it adds incredible value to the system. You get 7 fans for like $35. Where on earth can you find that anywhere else online? I don't even know if these guys are making money selling these fans. You get 4 front-facing fans and you get 3 reverse blades. So you can actually get the perfect fan configuration inside of your system. Okay, so let's figure out how much money we can make on this flip. So far I have spent $85.86 on the fans and the cooler, plus $800 for the system. So in total I've spent $885.86. I think we can get $1,500 easily for this system. If we sell it for $1,500, my take home is $614, you guys, and 14 cents. Wow. That is gonna be one of the easiest flips on the channel. But I say we start a little higher than that to compensate the money I've spent for the fans and the cooler. It doesn't hurt to start higher, and we can always drop the price if we can't find anyone. And the way the system looks now, honestly, I would be surprised if we don't sell this within a week. So let's start off at $1,550 and see what happens. Okay, so while we wait for both PCs to be sold, I say we jump on our mini ITX PC that I've been wanting to build for the past few episodes. I finally got the missing piece, our SFX power supply. This guy was selling an SF850L Corsair power supply on OfferUp for $120. I offered $60. He countered back with $80 because he was selling it for his son, which had no use for it. So I accepted the $80 price. I went over and picked it up. It's practically a brand new SFX power supply that hasn't even been used. So this is going to fit perfectly in our build. I'll go over the rest of the parts right now, starting with this incredible bundle we picked up a few episodes ago, which includes the Ryzen 7 5800X 3D processor, an X570S ITX motherboard with 32 gigs of Corsair Vengeance RAM. The reason why I want to get this build done as soon as possible is because, I don't know if you guys heard the announcement, but AMD is bringing back their Ryzen 7 5800X 3D processor. It is set to launch on June 25th at $350. That's good news and bad news. Good news for gamers who are still on a DDR4 platform, but bad news for flippers who have stockpiled on this processor, because this is currently going for anywhere between $450 and $500. Once those CPUs hit the shelves, the prices on these on the aftermarket are gonna drop drastically, probably around $300. So that is why we got to get this build done and sold before those CPUs hit the market. For storage, I'll be using my 1TB Lexar drive that we got for free in the last PC build that pretty much went up in flames. And for the GPU, we're going to be putting in the lovely RTX 3080 Ti Founders Edition that we picked up on the last episode, and everything is going to be going inside the end case, which also comes with its very own 280 cooler. This is going to be a very risky build for 2 reasons. Number one, we're using expensive components. Like just between the CPU and the GPU, we're looking at pretty close to $1,000. And the second reason, it is a mini ITX form factor with not that much RGB. So it's going to cater to a very small niche, and I'm just hoping that we can sell it within a few weeks, but we'll see. Okay, well, the build is done, but unfortunately I had to swap the card because the power supply cables were literally touching the rear exhaust fan. Like, it was preventing the fan from actually spinning. No matter what I did, the cable slack is extremely short, so there was no way to route around it. So no matter what I did, unfortunately, it was touching the fan. So I had to swap it to the only other GPU in my inventory that had comparable performance, which was the MSI Ventus RTX 4070. It's a little slower, but you know, it was the only other card that can fit inside this case. So in total, I've spent $1,095 on this system, which actually is a lot more than I thought. And looking back at the parts list, I did not get a good deal on the CPU, the motherboard, and the memory. $325 for the CPU is okay at best. I definitely overpaid for the memory, and the motherboard was just all right. So sadly, I'm not expecting like a huge profit. Honestly, I'll be happy if I just break even with this system. I say we list it at $1,300 just to sell it as soon as possible. If I do sell it for that price, I'll only bring in $205 in profit, which is like the bare minimum I'm looking for on any flip. There is some good news, however, ladies and gents, and that is I managed to sell the Phoenix PC with the 3070. Someone reached out on Facebook Marketplace wanting to get the system shipped out to Indiana. So I priced them at $100 for shipping and packing, and they agreed to pay me a total of $905 to my Cash App. So let's go ahead and put the $905 back into my wallet. I then packed up the PC and shipped it out via UPS. I have paid $76.53 for the shipping label, so let's round that up and deduct $77 from the wallet. In total, I have spent $682 on this PC, which does include the shipping cost, but I sold it for $905, bringing us a decent profit of $223. Considering we only lost $50 from the motherboard catching on fire, I am extremely happy with this outcome. Like, it could have gone far worse and I could have lost way more money. One tip I can give my fellow flippers out there who are struggling on selling their inventory is to follow these buy and sell communities on Facebook Marketplace. That way, when you create a new listing, you have the option to also share that listing in those communities. That way more people can see it. I think I've already sold like 3 PCs from simply posting in those public communities, so it's definitely something to look into. Our wallet is looking stacked. We have a ton of inventory still to build off of, and I managed to find some really good deals on the next episode. So make sure you guys stick around. Thanks for watching as always, and I'll see you in the next one.